Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I want to first say all praises to the Most High, Ahaya Ba'ashim Yeshaya, Wabawakadash. I'm brother and servant Mashah, and this is
Deacon Shalomah.
Deacon Shalom out here. And we wanted to talk today about the truth with persecutions, that truth and bringing out this word and living in the truth, be honest with you, just living in how what Christ had put forth. And the things that come with it, be it from our families, be it from our work, be it from the world. And just, are you ready for that? Are we ready? I know some of the elders out there, they made lessons on how to deal with people at work, and that was a pretty good lesson. Everybody see that one? That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Just in regards to how to navigate this life and knowing what we know and the high standards we're held to, and the constant constant battle. All right, the constant battle, and it's a constant struggle to try to be in the right lane, you know, and that narrow path. When there's so much wide path of destruction going on and so many different directions we could be going, and we're not, and trying not to, and continuously that struggle internally, that fight that we continuously have in within us, that war. How are we overcoming that in these days and times? And this is going to get worse. It's just been getting more hectic. My week was hectic. I'm pretty sure a lot of folks' weeks was pretty hectic. Just getting more hectic, and you can just see the design against you, really. And not necessarily the weaknesses you have, but maybe even the strengths where the enemy is going right at you with the things that you may have issues with, weaknesses-wise, but even things that you might be strong at. Is like, I didn't know, I thought I was strong in that, and I'm not. So you're being tested at all gates right now. So we're going to start on Isaiah 29:13. The truth for persecutions, are we ready? Let's look through these scriptures to see how focused and ready we are for the time to come, because I know we haven't seen nothing yet, really, and it's going to escalate. I know that he said next week we got a rally. It's a rally in D.C. apparently
Next
Sunday, and it's like a Make America Great Again rally.
Yeah, a lot of white supremacists going to
So
be here next week.
A lot of that's going to be here. It's going to be a lot of confusion going on. Apparently they're getting like private security, and they get their own private train cars just to make it to these rallies.
Yep.
And it's going to be interesting how society deals with this, because even though you have one side where they feel like it's their land and they can do whatever they do, you also got the other side where it's completely lawless. So it's like which side they're both wrong, but on both sides you got a whole bunch of confusion and arguments and just divide. And that's what I'm saying as a nation of people, us, but also a nation of the United States and a nation of the world. Divide is the number one game. Go divide and conquer is the number one name right now. So let's talk about Isaiah 29:13. We got to fashion ourselves after Christ, because if we're not, we're going to fashion ourselves after the image of Satan. Choose a side.
All right, with the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 13. Wherefore the Most High said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth.
Wherefore the Most High said, wherefore as this people draw near me with their mouth. What else?
And with their lips do honor me.
And with their lips do honor me.
But have removed their heart far from me. And their fear towards me is taught by the precept of men.
And the fear towards me is taught by the precept of men. I know a lot of times we think about the fear of the Lord and how Noah was moved by fear, and what the fear of the Lord actually means, right? Keeping his commandments, of course, and all those. But let's hit a precept real quick. Let's go to, I think, the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 13. Let's talk about that real quick before we move forward. Because a lot of people, especially Israel, we do a lot of talking, but there's not a lot of doing. I want to say I want to do this, I want to blah, 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 but action-wise, doesn't happen. And I saw it like perfectly summarized in a video, and this was crazy because both of Israel was in the same video, but they were doing two different things. This is where it shows where the king tribes or the southern tribes have some issues with sticking together and working together, and then the other side, the northern tribes, still kind of having a resemblance of that. So just before we hit that verse, there was supposedly a factory somewhere, and I wasn't sure exactly where it was, but it was a factory where they had a bunch of northern tribe, Issachar, Hispanics, and apparently two of them got let go for like invalid reasons, like probably, something that wasn't right enough to get fired. They might have even been hired under the table circumstances, so they felt like they could throw them away. So like 2 or so got put away apparently at this job, and they're in this factory, and it's a Hebrew, Israelite, probably tribe of Judah, Benjamin, or Levi, videotaping it. And apparently what happened was once they told this one brother from Issachar, 2 brothers from Issachar, they had to go. Apparently the call went out through their whole entire factory that all Issachar is going to leave at the same time. Because if they can't be here, we got to go too. And they knew it was wrong. They was like, oh, you letting them go for what reason? No. We're getting out of here. So the whole time you're seeing action being taken, right? Because you got 2 northern tribes being taken and saying they no longer have a job. And the whole tribe was like, no dice. We're all leaving. And the whole time we have a southern tribe brother saying they're all leaving together. This is what I'm talking about. Why can't we do that? I saw the difference right there in 2 different ways. Somebody was talking about it. It wasn't happening on our side. Mm-hmm. Then there's another tribe exactly doing it. And then guess what? They had to shut the whole factory down because there was no workers left. Now, when it comes down to strength in numbers, that's one thing we do have. But one thing we don't have is togetherness. And there's a lot of fear involved. The wrong kind of fear, taught by the precepts of men. So when you think about things, they can't do anything without us. However, they've done a good job of keeping us separate so that when one does it, they say, oh, that's just a job opening for me. We're sharks in our own people. Hit that real quick. Proverbs 8.
Read the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil.
The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. So this is not really a fear. This is basically saying, look, I love the Lord, the Most High, so much that I can't even take to be around evil. So the fear of the Lord is to have what?
It's to hate evil.
Hate evil.
Pride.
And a huge one, right? A huge one that people have issues with, pride. So hate evil, hate pride. What else?
And arrogancy.
So to be, nose in the air. Or it's mine because I say so. Or I do what I want because what are you going to do about it? Arrogancy. What else?
And the evil way.
So the fear of the Lord is these things. Read them again.
Hate evil.
Pride.
And arrogancy.
And the evil way.
And a froward mouth do I hate.
And froward means perverse. A perverse mouth. Do who hate?
I
hate the Most High. That's the fear of the Lord. So when you have people in the world doing evil things and you're like, I'm just not going to get involved. Is that hating evil? Or is it letting them control what you do? And it's not to be unwise and say, look, it's situations where you just don't touch it. The Most High said, look, this is not your fight. This is mine. But there's sometimes where just things like conversations you're not hopping in. Somebody will say something and you're like, well, I'd rather not. No. You got to hate evil, pride, arrogancy, evil way, perverse mouth. So let's remove their hearts from them. That's Isaiah 29:13. Our hearts need to change. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to make it in this time to come. Only way. Externally, we're going to look dusty. We're going to look messed up. But internally, we got to be strong. Because that's where the war's been taken to us. Let's go back to Isaiah 29 and verse 14. That's where we have to stand strong. Our people have to start talking about it, stop talking about it, and then be about it. Because we only survive this together. We got to be one in this. We read that in Ephesians earlier. One body, one mind, one baptism. Got to be together in this. I know we say this every week. Be together in this. Saying, we got to repeat it every week as long as the Most High gives us breath to say it. But we got to be in this together. It's the only way we're going to, as a nation, survive. Look at your children if you have them. That's the only way they're going to make it if you're focused with your brothers and sisters. If you don't have children, you got nieces and nephews, they're dependent on you. If you don't have even them, look at the brother and sister next to you. They're dependent on you. So I know we all get weak, and I'm saying this. As I'm saying this, I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to me, and you just hearing it. It's time to get focused. The world's not slowing down. The design against us is building up. They're changing things day by day, speeding things up, distracting you left and right as they do whatever they do. We can't lose focus of who we are in this. What our responsibility as a nation, not just to our people, but to everyone that Christ is leaning on us for. Verse 14.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 14. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid.
All right.
Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord.
So woe unto these folks, whoever they may be it in their minds or in their desires. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord. They are preparing for something. The world is preparing for something. And I'm seeing it with my own eyes. In my daily life, I'm seeing it. They're preparing for something. We're not, apparently. We're the only ones like, it's going to keep going forever just like this. Shabbat's still going to be happening. Let's talk about Passover next year. Let's talk about tabernacles this year. Those things are important, but we got to get there first. And they're trying everything they can to slow that down or stop it. No lie, I was just visiting someone, not going to say who, but I happened to be at their house. And when I pulled up into the driveway, there was, and I'm pretty sure some people who own trucks know what these are. It was a big Ford 350 in the driveway. And I saw that truck before, but this time it had a cabin on the back of it, like a camper. And it was hooked to the house. And then I looked on the top of it, and it had like a dome. And the dome was like a white bulb. That means that they had satellite capability. And then I also saw a couple things on it just was interesting, like vents and hyperbaric seals on the doorways. Yes, this was a Gentile. Yes, that truck was not what it was before, but he got it modified. I didn't really ask too many questions. I just wanted to check it out. But what I've noticed is that they're knowing this person's background, they know. They for sure know. And it's happening soon, whatever it is. Just letting you know that this lesson's not in vain. It is time. The days that we read about are upon us. Woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord. You have all these folks with all this money. Now, you don't even have to be necessarily in the scriptures, but you can. There's one thing I knew when I was coming up as a youngster, looking at stuff like conspiracy theories and all those things you want to stare. We did all that stuff coming. A lot of us did. That's why we're here. Because a lot of we chased that rabbit, right? But one thing that always stuck to me, and I know when it talks about when Christ was talking about like he saw the glory of the nations when he was taken up to the high pinnacle by Satan. One thing I did realize, that glory to them, that power, revolves around money. So when it comes down for me wanting to figure out what's happening, and even in my day-to-day, follow the money. Follow the money. You will find what they're doing. So when you start to see this woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and do you read about the scriptures that they're going to be in the clefts of rocks, hiding their face from him that comes down, and then weeks later or days later, you're just surfing the internet or watching TV, and in broad day, they have, in every country in the world, they have these underground bunkers. Preparing for whole populations of people to be placed into. It doesn't matter what country you go to. It's all the same. They're doing the same thing all at once. So they're all fighting in public on CNN, and they're at war this and war that. And why is one country in China have ghost cities, which they're just empty cities ready to be habitated in the middle of nowhere. Underground bunkers ready to go. Why does America supposed to be at war with them doing the same thing? All of the alphabets that are out there that you would name have moved all of their stuff toward the middle of the country for some reason. In the mountains, where it's safe in their eyes. Russia the same. And then every other country then flooded all their money right into to Africa and doing lots of things there. Building those people up to be westernized, thinking that they're living a high life, and all they're doing, they're building for their destruction. When you don't read the scriptures, you don't see that kind of stuff. You just think it's all rhyme or reason. But yeah, they seek the deep to hide their counsel from. They are doing things in secret, thinking that nobody sees them. They know the Most High sees them, but they don't care because the people aren't linked to the Most High. You're not going to hear it. You're not going to get the heads up. You're not going to think about, whoa, how does this connect? How does this connect? So all these signs you're starting to see, just get prepared internally. The external, once you're internally prepared, the external will take care of itself. They're preparing externally. Inside, they're still filthy. They're just preparing with their guns and preparing with their food stores. It's not going to mean anything if inside it's not right. But woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Most High. And what else?
And their works are in the dark.
And their works are in the dark.
And they say, who seeth us? And who know of us?
Who knows what we're doing? Who knows? Nobody knows. They can't see us. They have no idea. They're too caught up in what the president's saying. We did the perfect thing by putting someone who can inflame comments of whole people. While we do things to the side, we'll just put out some tweets or some Facebook posts, or we'll put them up there and on some speech and just rile everybody up so we can work in peace. Distractions. They waited too. That's when you know the time frame. They waited to a point in time to now they can start doing this. Truth, when you're in the truth, the persecutions are coming. They are starting that. What else did they say? Verse 16.
Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
Woe to them that call good evil and evil good. Now, it's funny, and I talked about this, I think, the other week, where we've been here for, roughly 400 years just from a history standpoint, whatever you believe, whatever time frame you believe. We've been here for at least 400 on this particular part of the world. May longer, I'm sure, but funny enough, we get accepted to society, quote unquote accepted. And then through all that, they didn't really have like sensitivity trainings and all that kind of stuff. But now they want to introduce, brothers and sisters who want to be opposite the sex they were born. You got folks who, like the same sex that they're with. And now the new thing is make sure that the children or the preying of children can be a sexuality.
Now pedophilia is being accepted now.
I've seen many things out there so far, and they're trying to flood it slowly but surely. But nobody's talking about things like if you're going to separate children from their families, and I know we've seen a lot of that on the news when it came to Northern Tribe, right? How we know all the children went back to their families if they were separated? Circle that back to, if that's the case, all the children did not necessarily make it to the families, where did they go? And if that's the case, then why are they pushing pedophilia at the same time?
Yep, about the same time.
Right around the time where Christmas and Thanksgiving, starting to go into that fall season. Separation of family, but also pushing pedophilia as well.
Exactly.
I'm just saying timing looks perfect for them. And then you see a few folks in Hollywood get in trouble, and a few Hollywood stars come out and say, look, I was abused as a child. That gets swept under the rug. That didn't mean anything. All the child stars, they seen them went crazy. All of them. Who's the last one? Who's the last one that just lost it? Collie McCall, all those folks, yeah, that grew up in business and show business. Look it up. It's all out there. So now you have that turning of things upside down, that you're going to accept it. Did a whole training on that at the job. You're going to accept this.
Yep.
Or you're not going to work here. I'm like, I've been black for almost 40 years. I don't remember getting a training on my needs because I'm pretty sure I'm the most persecuted person in the nation right now. But no, they always have to piggyback on the plight of the Israelite.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. You got a brother in the congregation that told the story a couple of weeks ago. Brother David told me about his coworker that was a man that turned to a woman, and now he has to address him as a woman now. In the way of work, you cannot call him as a man.
By force.
By force. So even though you knew him as a man first, turned to a woman, you gotta say Mrs. Okay, you gotta say Mrs. now. So that's what's going on at the workplace.
Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed. That's in high regard. Shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. The potter was the most happening person in the old times. You made pots for water. You made plates for eating. You made clay tablets for writing. The potter's clay. They're building a new land for themselves, a new society. A potter was an architect at his time. Utensils, whatever you needed at that time. Potters were esteemed, highly esteemed. It was a highly esteemed art form. They're taking that pottery to a different level. Keep going.
For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not.
Now, why would it say this? If a person made it, you would surely think that a person that made something would say, yeah, I made it. Were they lying that they didn't make it? Or did they not know they even made that? That begs the question then, who's in charge when they're doing these things? Because what? This warfare is not carnal.
Yep.
We wrestle not against flesh and blood. So while these folks, and we do a good job at pointing the finger at the flesh and blood, but the spiritual is laughing the entire time saying, he has no idea what he's doing. You're looking at the wrong things. Even us as people and men and women, we blame people for their actions. A lot of times they have no idea they're doing them. The spirit in them. That's why you can't have a grudge against a brother. Why are you blaming a brother for something that something else did? Yeah, you hold him accountable. You let him know. Because maybe he's just not aware. A lot of folks, even those who have knowledge of the word, don't know when they get taken over. Even people with knowledge of the word have sometimes just does not recognize. Mm-hmm. Because the arrogancy, what we read earlier in Proverbs, that pride,
arrogancy.
That arrogancy will do what? Because if you're a person with much knowledge, that means whatever demon or spirit you're getting is going to be of much knowledge. They're not going to come in a way and say, oh, well, that's obvious. It's going to come in a way where you're sleeping and you thought better. You thought you knew better and you did not. And it's been sitting in there directing your whole life. What else?
O shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding.
Boom. The thing he made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding. He had no idea what he was doing. But because of his what? Pride. Arrogancy, froward mouth, evil way, he was used. Mm-hmm. all the arrogancy, all these folks who use money to prop themselves up to be better than someone or some position or even their age. Trust me, you can become a habitation of devils if your heart's not right. What else?
Verse 17. It is not yet a very little a while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest.
All right.
And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness.
And in that day shall the deaf, because we were once people who could not hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity. What else?
And out of darkness.
And out of darkness. You start to see the light of the world. You start to see Christ. What else?
Verse 19. The meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore thus said the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob.
Concerning the house of Jacob, okay.
Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale.
Therefore thus saith the Most High, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob, who you are. Jacob shall not now be ashamed. Because right now they're going to make it for you to be ashamed to be who you are. Because everything else is going to be propped up. They already put a religious freedom act out there where you're freely able to say who you are. That was the only way they're allowed to do their wicked side. To say that they, a man's a woman, a woman's a man, or they want to be whatever they want to be. They're giving a green light for everybody now. They're pouring a flood out so everybody can be whatever. Now it's up to us to choose right. Between all those options, they made it difficult on purpose. So thus saith the Lord, concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale, because you're going to be up against some things now that are coming, that are here. There are things around you don't even recognize they've been going on around you this whole time. A lot of us keep our heads down, keep our eyes focused, but there's a lot of things going on around they're trying to build up against you. But this now is not the time for our face to wax pale in fear. Keep going.
Verse 23. But when he seeth his children, the work of my hands,
right,
in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the God of Israel. They also that erred in spirit should come to understanding.
They also that erred in spirit, those who fell away, those who didn't want to come to the word, those who came to the word, got baptized, left, then come back. What? Those also that erred in the spirit shall come to what? Understanding.
And they that murmured shall learn doctrine.
And they that murmured, they who may have known a little word and ran off, will now understand what Christ was talking about. Because there's going to be a time when there's not going to be any more wiggle room for playtime. And we're getting close to it now. I'm not sure how busy your weeks are getting, how tied up you're getting, how many more meetings they can pull you into at work to kind of buy up your time, keep you clamped up, keep it so your mind can't even get a clear thought. I don't know if anybody else's life is starting to do that, but it's happening across the world. Just being busy. So eventually, all those who erred, ourselves, anybody out there, and the Spirit shall come to understanding. Everybody's going to know what the Most High expects of you. And they that murmured shall learn doctrine. Let's go to Daniel 6:4.
And that's why it's funny that scripture is like that, because this is wheat and tear season, and that's why you can't say to a person, you a tear.
Nope.
Because you might be a tear. And the person could be a wheat.
What kind of pride and arrogancy will cause somebody else a tear and call themselves wheat when you have no idea where you end up? You can do the works of the Most High in public, but in private you can be somebody else.
Yep.
Or in private you can be doing the works of the Most High, and outside of the Most High, outside in public, you can be a mess. But in the end, the Most High says, is this brother repenting? Does he care that he's doing this? Had he said, you know what, Father, my flesh is weak. Spirit's willing, my flesh is weak. Help me. Has that brother cried out, or has this brother said, you know what, I'm all sold up, and I want to point, or this sister, I want to point at everybody else's problems and tell them everybody else they're doing something wrong. I'm sad to myself because I don't have nothing wrong. I don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
When I get up there, the Most High ain't going to have nothing to say because I'm going to just be waltzing right in. Show me where any of the brothers that happened to, and then show me the scripture where somebody can just waltz into the kingdom without anything. So the righteous will barely make it.
Yep.
If Moses can go at the top of the mountain and have Satan pulling for his body, Moses, where do we stand? Where do we stand? Let's go to Daniel 6 and 4, because now in this truth and persecutions, you're going to get that censorship, and that's what that censorship we were talking about earlier with the world, just making sure that you're not able to bring out what you're supposed to bring out and speak to the people of the Most High like you want to. They're going to start slowing that down. You got folks who have businesses, they raise business for themselves, maybe want to make cakes or whatever, and the spirit of these people who says, oh, you want to make cakes to make people happy? Well, let's make a cake with 2 men on it or 2 women. And if you refuse, we're going to take everything you have.
Yep. Shut you down.
They've been trying to shut down Chick-fil-A forever. And they're not going to stop. That's the enemy number one for them, food-wise. So how dare you stand on Christian values, which, we all know. They don't know, even though they're trying to do what they do. But all that stuff's they're gonna make sure all that gets wiped out. But let's go to Daniel 6 and 4.
Read the book of Daniel, chapter 6, verse 4. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion or no fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him.
So again, this is a time when Daniel was in the land, and there was a decree that, look, you can only worship, and they actually had to stop that after a while. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to stop it, and we're here. You had presidents and princes. They saw Daniel as an upstanding citizen, but he also was Most High first, Christ first in things, right? And they wanted to make sure they can keep him from being an example to others. Because if you didn't know it or not, men and women look to you as an example. I know a lot of us have spread the word to a lot of our families and friends, and they heard you, but now they're watching you. Because they want to see you. At what point do you not follow what you say so we can say, aha, you're a hypocrite, like get in the line like the rest of us. You're no different than a Christian or Muslim you're yelling against, but you're the same way. You're not living what you're talking about. So the same thing. They're going to look to have an occasion. They're going to look for that crack in the armor. Mm-hmm. So now's the time to have a lot less of that going on, because you're just making your own job harder if you're trying to convert folks. You can't be converting folks and doing the same things. Presidents and princes, but your family as well, will find an occasion, trying to find error and fault based on, hey, I hear what you're saying, but look at you. All right, keep going. Verse 5.
Then said these men, we should not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his power.
So he said they know he didn't do anything that was sideways in the laws of the land. He wasn't out there breaking the law, which most of us in here don't do anyway. The law of the land, we follow that. But he said, let's see if we can find something against him in the law of his God. So they really trying. Next.
Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus to him, King Darius, live forever.
So prop him up. King Darius, live forever. Keep going.
All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes and the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask the petition of any power or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions.
So they wanted to shut down any worship of any god. Sound familiar? They want to lump everything together. So just like before, we've been here for a long time, but all of a sudden now we got sensitivity training. Now it's sensitive. Like you can't, he's black, you can't talk against him. And if you got like 5 scenes in a training, that'll be, first will be a handicapped person, and next will be a black person or a person with religious beliefs. But then you have a person who wants to be a man. Let's just tack that right on. All of a sudden now it's a problem.
Yep.
So they said, okay, I bet you everybody else can follow this except him. This was they made a whole trap for one person. This wasn't even about the other people. They could care less. They wanted one. This is what you'll find with the world. They'll do a lot of things to trap one.
Mm-hmm.
And by one, I mean one nation.
Yep.
I've seen what we talked about it before. How do you have ordinances and stuff just for us? They got handgun laws.
Mm-hmm.
Who got handguns? Not that they should be doing it in the first place, but who's the majority, using handguns for any kind of violent crime, if it's a crime at all? Us. We don't see us with rifles. We're not walking around with M16s. We're just walking around with the guns that somebody dropped off in the hood and gave us because we're too poor to buy them ourselves.
Yep. They have said the government has dropped off crates of guns, and there's videos out there said we saw crates of guns in the corner, we just grabbed them.
Look, in the hood, it's live or die.
We don't make no guns. So how we get it? We got no boats.
There's no gun stores in the hood. There's no gun stores in most cities anymore, especially the democratic cities. But here we are, making laws and decrees for one. Yep, the loud music ordinance. Yep, who likes to party in the summertime and have fun?
Exactly. You know what's funny? They had an ordinance where they had one person they was cooking food, and they called and they said you had too much smoke going to my yard. Cookout smoke going to my yard. They actually had a person pulled up and wrote a citation to this black brother, said you had too much cookout smoke.
Too much cookout smoke.
Cookout smoke going. I say, are you really?
Wow.
This kind of stuff was going on. You see what's going on? They called the police on us for no reason. Yes.
There's a limit on that.
It's a limit.
Pose a limit. You got to have a little bit of smoke.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, look. Imagine us in the times when we all on the same page, working our power. We're not using stoves per se. We out there cooking everything on an open fire pit like we do at tabernacles. Imagine that, and then we can't have that. No smoke.
It's too unsafe. It's
right.
The environment.
In the whole month of September, no more tents. You can't be in tents. Nobody can be there. Yeah. Tents is an eyesore. What you trying to make like a homeless shelter?
Yeah.
I can see it because that's too close to doing something on your own instead of needing requirements of the world's help.
Yep.
Read at verse 8.
Verse 8, now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not.
All right.
Wherefore King Darius signed a decree and the decree. Beside the writing and the decree, I'm sorry. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went to his house, and his windows being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem.
So, as we earlier today, we prayed towards Jerusalem, towards the east, right?
He knelt upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power as he did aforetime.
That praying 3 times a day in Psalms 55. All right, keep going.
That these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his power.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a big city. These brothers could have been, these, what they call it, these men assembled. They could have been anywhere in the city at that time.
Yep.
But for some reason, they found they had to be in front of Daniel's house, near his window, to check to see if this brother was possibly praying, because they said 30 days no pray. And they made sure that I want to catch somebody slipping. All right, there we go. Let's go. Keep going.
Verse 12. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any power or man within 30 days save of thee?
I could just
king?
imagine this. As soon as that was happening, as soon as Daniel go to pray the first time, everybody was Usain Bolt to the king.
Darius, I saw Darius.
Running 40-yard dashes in 4.3 seconds with sandals on. Can't wait to tell. Snitchy. Yeah, there we go. Keep going.
O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but making his petition 3 times a day.
He said he didn't just pray one time. He prayed 3 times. So he didn't cross the line 3 times. They said, so, yeah, you signed that law. Okay. But, yeah, so Daniel, let me let you know, this brother Daniel, he's not following that. Praying 3 times a day. So he still overstepped this 3 times. Keep going.
Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him.
Mm-hmm.
And then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed.
So the king, he was like, dang, I know Daniel. He doesn't bother anybody. Why did I make this law? And this is when you know the spirits are involved. Going right to Daniel. It was all about for Daniel in the end. And the king, had really no idea that he was signing probably somebody he felt was an upstanding citizen to their death. Always in design around people who try to be people of the Most High. Keep going.
Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him to the den of lions. Now the king spake and said to Daniel, thy power whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee.
So this is a mockery at that. You know, thy power whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. So the governmental laws were used against a man who stood in the true creator of all men. Daniel stood in protest against the perverse law that was craftily put into law. Question is, where were all the other Israelites that stand with him? Where was his brothers and sisters? Because, I mean, Daniel's the only person getting thrown in the lion's den, but was there any other brothers doing it? Or were they complying with the law of the land? Say, I guess I ain't talking to the Most High. Or they were doing it in closed rules. Daniel didn't care. Look, I'm going to serve the power openly. He said, who will deny me in secret? Yep, deny me openly. I would deny for my father.
Exactly.
Daniel understands these words. So, again, Daniel was not in captivity by himself. So, again, this is no different than today. And when the real head of the serpent is shown through government, all those claiming to be with the Most High, for a few will also fade in the shadows. Because when it comes down to, hey, you got to go to this camp. Or we got to, you're going to have to take this shot. Or you're going to have to take this chip. Or all these little things they're going to bring down that the Most High says don't do. There's going to be a lot of people who read this every day and fold. Faster than Superman on laundry day. Going to fold.
I like that.
That's where we just got to make sure in here, how strong are we? Because outside, we can put on the front for people easily. That's real easy to do. But the Most High is going to check you on that. Who are you really? Because when the heat gets turned up, will you be able to stand the fire? Let's go to 1 Samuel 23 and 15. There's nothing new under the sun. What I've learned just from just reading this book for the years and years that I've had it, and you always find new stuff, is that they don't change. The enemy can't change. The Most High, he doesn't change. His law, statutes, and commandments, they stand true, and they stick. And for some reason, the enemy, he can't go out of that too. He's got to stick by what he's been allowed to do. So you'll see these same patterns over and over again, the same things happening. And that's why they want you to make sure, that's why the world want to make sure you forget history. Because if you forget history, you can't correct anything. Now, the whole time, they're remembering history all through. This whole time, they have to. Because they remember a time when they lost to your people many times. They remember when your power was able to overcome them many times. They remember that. So now they got to fill in the gaps. All right, we messed up 2,000 years ago, but that's because we did this. We're not going to do that again. This is how we're going to do it. They're just trying to get better at doing exactly what Isaiah 14 and 12 says. Mm-hmm. Get their God back up to heaven so they have a crack at being kings and chosen ones. They got everything. They are definitely getting ready for something. Go to 1 Samuel 23.
All right, with the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 23, verse 15. And David saw that Saul was come out to seek his life, and David was in the wilderness, and Zip was in the wood. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan, Saul's son, arose and went to David into the wood, and strengthened his hand in the Most High. And he said unto him, Fear not, for the hand of Saul my father shall not find thee, and thou shalt be the king over Israel, and I shall be next unto thee, and that also Saul my father knoweth.
So again, for those who don't know the story, this is the King Saul, and Saul knew that David was chosen to be king behind him. Now, we already read Proverbs 8 and 13, pride, arrogancy, perverse ways. This king didn't want to let go of that power. He was chosen to raise up Israel at a time when Israel was in disarray. But someone succeeding him, he didn't want to hear anything about that. And that caused him what? Fear. One. But also, he had a little bit of pride issues because he didn't want to let go of something the Most High ordained, knowing that the Most High looking directly in your heart and saying, Saul, your time, because of how you are, you can't reign over Israel like that. Your heart's not right. I have somebody to take your place. And he knew this. So because of that, again, Saul sought David's life. He said, that prophecy, that's not going to happen. Not on my watch. Keep going.
Verse 18. And they two made a covenant before the Lord, and David abode in the wood, and Jonathan went into his house.
Yep.
Then came up the Ziphites to Saul to Gibeah, saying, Do not David hide himself with us in the strongholds in the wood, in the hill of Hekeliah, which is on the south of Jezimon? Now therefore, O king, come down according to all thy desire of thy soul, to come down, and our part shall be to deliver him into the king's hand.
Making deals. And therefore, O king, come down according to all the desire of whoso? Thy soul.
Yep.
Consumer on his own lust. He wasn't saying by the will of the Most High. He said, what do you want to do? This is all about your decision, King Saul. What do you want? Right? And our part shall be to deliver him into the king's hand. All right? Keep going.
Verse 21. And Saul said, Blessed be ye of the Lord, for ye have compassion on me. Go, I pray you, prepare yet, and know and see his place where his haunt is, and who had seen him there. For it is told me that he dealeth very subtilly. See therefore, and take knowledge of all the lurking places where he hideth himself, and come ye again to me with that certainty, and I will go with you, and it shall come to pass, if he be in the land, that I will search him out throughout all the thousands of Judah.
That's crazy. He wanted to know all the and this sounds straight out like of some side, like not even science fiction. This sounds like today when like the police want to find a person. Where's his haunts? Where does his mama live? Where's his aunt live? Where's his girlfriend? Where's his old job? Where's his friends? Like when you sign for a new car, they want to know every last person you know. Like we need some references. No, it's not that they want to know how good of a person you are. They want to know where they can go get that car when you don't pay.
Yep, exactly.
I like how they slickly put that out there. People and kids, when they sign these things, they have no idea. You're like, look, you don't pay that bill. Guess whose addresses they finding? Guess whose phone numbers they're calling?
Yep.
Those. But the same here, it says, therefore take knowledge of all the lurking places where he hideth himself, and come to me again in certainty. Tell me that's exactly where he's going to be. So at 12 o'clock, he hangs around there, and then at nighttime, he lives here. Sounds a little bit like Google Maps or Google when they can tell you exactly where you've been all day, or like when it's getting close to 4 o'clock, it tells you my route home is clear.
Yep.
And knows where I live, and I didn't tell you where I lived at Google.
Yep. You get a notification. Oh, it's 45 minutes to get home.
Google assumed where I live because it looks at the time frames where people sleep, and say, you know what? For 8 to 9 to 10 hours, that's where he's sitting at night. And for 8 to 9 hours during the day, he's sitting at this spot in the day. It even told me it was time to go to church one day. Yeah. It said, "Oh, your route to Temple Hills is clear." But it said for some reason Google thinks I'm going skating, and good for that.
So the brother skated for 5 hours.
That brother be skating for 5 to 6 hours.
He a pro.
One thing, if we have to go after this brother,
he's skating.
He might be skating out of there.
Yeah. Michelle, they're doing backflips.
Right, exactly. Look, be ninja on skates, man.
Yeah.
Ninja on skates. But yeah, according to Google, I skate for 5 to 6 hours every Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, Google, that's what I'm doing. But it's taking knowledge of all the lurking places. They just taken that mindset. When they want to get somebody, just like Saul, when he was doing this for his own lust, they took that and just made it digital. Now everybody, you have lurking places. No matter what kind of phone you got now, they know where you are at that time of the day. They know what favorite shops you like to go to, like what kind of food you eat. I mean, for real, no lie. We actually go to the store sometimes, and food that we like that, we try to eat certain ways. They make sure that food is gone.
I know.
And I'm talking about not gone as in, somebody bought it all. Gone as in, we no longer sell that.
Yeah.
How'd you know that? Then I look at my cards like, every time I go buy food, I'm either swiping a card from the store. I'm not saying they're personally doing this, but we already seen that they will do that. They will do a lot for one person or a few people or a small number of people. But yeah, when you swipe your little card to get that deal, to get the money off, they just got your whole grocery list. Things you like.
Yeah. You also those you shop online as well. When you check your email stuff, the stuff you looked at before, you see it on your emails.
I talk about things.
They track all that kind of stuff.
I talk about things media. And don't even look it up, and it still pops up as an advertisement.
Yeah.
That's what Google says. Oh, I'm listening. Or Siri, we made it I gave it a name.
Or Alexia now.
Or Alexia, Alexia. So they're just giving all these, but they're just giving voices in the homes. And this is just unrelated, but I saw where they're able to take people's voices now. And, I'm pretty sure a lot of you heard this before. They can take your voices and take pieces of your conversation to piece together a whole conversation. So, therefore, somebody can say, you're being brought in for murder or a conspiracy to murder. Like, I ain't never murdered anybody. Well, isn't this your voice? And they play a whole recording of you talking. And it's like, I didn't even say that, have a conversation like that before. But they have every last one of the words that you say in your phone or around your phone. They can piece together left and right to make a whole sentence, a whole paragraph, a whole story. I forgot what the name is called. It is definitely it's a technology they're able to do it. They're doing it with like some of like when they're trying to like make actors back and put back movies that passed away, and they take some of the pieces like interviews they've done and maybe movie scenes they've had and they piece together all that. You can create like a whole new actor using all their words and the whole how the verbatim of your voice and how that goes, how it flows. They can do all that now. So yeah, everybody's pretty much listen, but nothing new under the sun for the world. When they want something, they're just finding new ways to do it now. And then they're not just finding his lurking place, but search him out among all the thousands of Judah. How are they now able to pluck you out in the world amongst all the other people that are searching the same stuff as you are? Now you have an online profile. Somewhere out there, there's a whole profile of you. And they know exactly what you like. I remember doing a verification, electronic verification. They knew what kind of car I had. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Well, you got to go through the banks. But they knew everything already. So they're able to, no lie, pinpoint you now out of all of Judah, if need be.
And
again, nothing new under the sun.
He's right, because y'all know what I do. I could go and I could see everything about you. It's a website that we use, the IRS, that I can find out everything about you. The last places you lived at, what kind of car, vehicle you had. All your social media accounts go all the way back, even from the back to the MySpace days. I can pull up your old page and see everything about you. So everything you put online, I can see everything. That's why I tell people, be careful what you post online. Because you think you can delete it, it's not deleted. It's not deleted. We can go back and get it. So I tell, be careful. But we can see all that kind of stuff. It's technology. So I'm just giving y'all heads up as your brother. But I'm not looking at none of y'all, so don't worry about it.
But yeah, just like the Most High was keeping tabs on everything you did, now is on public record. Carnally in the world, they're able to do the same exact things. What you say online, what you say with your voice, what you typed in, all that's out there. So don't give an accuser the place. So let's go to Matthew 10 and 18. But it's just sad how it seems like in times of trouble, our people will just side with, instead of siding with, righteousness, they'll side with whoever is in power. I mean, this is exactly what happened throughout history with us falling to our enemies and following other gods. They got power, let's follow them. Yeah, it's just you can see the writing on the wall for a lot of our folks. You can see it. How we'll hold our jobs more accountable in things than we do in our own body. How we'll act for order in our jobs but won't have order here. So where does your heart lie? Again, truth comes with persecutions. Being a friend of the world, being an enemy with the Most High.
Yep. All right, with the book of Matthew chapter 10, verse 18. And ye shall be brought up before governors and the kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought or how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what you shall speak.
No need to rehearse. No need to practice. It's going to be given. It's going to be, you have no self-conversation with you. And I tell people a lot, look, it says, look, let your words be few. The scriptures say it plainly. And it's a reason for that. If you wrestle not against flesh and blood, then, and spirits, they don't have bodies, so they don't got to sleep. They don't got to rest. They don't have an off switch, per se. They're just sitting. So with that, whatever you say out your mouth, somebody hears it. So if you're saying, well, I'm going to give this, when they take me for it, I'm going to say, well, it was his fault.
Yep.
Or that person's fault. And the spirit is like, oh, he's going to say that? Yeah. That's what you're going to say? All right, let me write that down and find a way to beat that. That's like giving your whole defense in court.
Yep.
Before going to court and then realizing you didn't win your court case because everything you said was already what? Everything you say will be used against you in the court of law. Where do you think they got that from? Exactly. As above, so below.
Plead the fifth.
Yep.
Ecclesiastes 5, 1 and 2.
All right. Plead the fifth.
Yep. I was to say Ecclesiastes 5, 1 and 2. I ain't saying nothing.
Yep. Yeah, Christ was getting beat, didn't say a word. We get yelled at. We shouting at the top, at the mountaintops. Everything you need to hear.
Yep.
Well, we're gonna put you in jail. I'll tell you everything you need to hear. Just singing. Yep. Right. It's singing. Mm-mm.
You watch verse 48, you see it every episode.
Keep going.
For it is not yet that speak, but the spirit of your Father which speaketh in you.
For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Keep going.
And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death. And
Now, this is interesting. Because I think we don't necessarily figure like, all right, well, brothers in church ain't going to do it, right? Or it might be my family. They wouldn't do it. Psh. You put enough money on the table, put enough power on the table, and see who turns on you. Easily. For the brother shall deliver up brother to death. And what else?
And the father, the child,
right.
and the children shall rise up against their parents.
I just think about this when we talk to so many people who said that, oh, you part of that church that's a cult. And if they have that mindset because of maybe how you presented it or how you're so like focused on the scriptures, but then they see you kind of like the cracks in the cracks in your facade where like maybe you're not doing exactly what you're saying. And then it's the situations that if we have an alert, if you know people who follow the Bible literally, we have this special program they need to be placed into. If you find anybody like that, call this number, and we'll come and save them and make sure they get better. When it says deliver brother to death and the father the child, and children what?
And children shall rise up against their parents.
We just want to get them some help because they're just following the word too literally. That's not how the Bible wrote it.
Right.
That's incorrect. That's not what the Pope said. The Pope said there's no 10 Commandments.
Right.
And he's equal to Christ.
Yep. He's the mouth of God.
Yeah. He's anointed. I mean, he's the Pope. Why wouldn't he be?
Mm-hmm.
Brother shall deliver up brother to death, the father, the child, and children shall rise up against their parents. And what?
It caused them to be put to death.
You won't see mommy, brother, sister, child anymore because they'll put you to death. They say, oh, he died in custody, unfortunately. He had a heart attack. Or we're not sure what happened. He got kind of violent and fell. He just fell off that building.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of that stuff going on. And it's because somebody you trusted to say, you know what, they're not going to do that to me. They were just a little bit weaker than you in that respect. And when they were pressed, what happens when you get like 3 or 4 criminals that did something and they separate them in those rooms and they start pressing. So, some of my brothers, you've been either in that situation or just lived around the way you know how it works. They put you in separate rooms and start pressing you on the story. Y'all all might have the same story until that one brother's like, I'm weak. I don't want to go to jail. And we'll let everybody go to jail. And he get either a light sentence or no sentence for ratting everyone out. When it comes down to being pressed, you're going to have that. Keep going.
Verse 22. And you should be hated of all men for my name's sake.
And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. I always think about family when I hear namesake. Because, like, I'm the namesake of my father, you're the namesake of your father, and that's just like his last name. Mm-hmm. But for the namesake of our nation, Yasha'Allah, you shall be hated for the name of Christ, the Son of the Most High, King of Israel. His title. You shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But what?
But he that endure to the end shall be saved.
Very key. Shall be saved. Shall be saved. If you endure unto the end. Not cracking in the midst of it. Not gassing when it gets a little tired. But to keep pushing. Not that it's not going to get hard. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying it's going to get tough. However, endure continually. If you see your brother weak, No matter if it's the first time that brother came out or a deacon that's been here for 5 or 6 years. If you see them weak, help them. Help them endure with you. We cannot do this alone. What else?
Verse 23. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye to another. For verily I say unto ye, ye should not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. Mm-hmm. Disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. Is it enough for the disciple that he be as his maker, and the servant as his Lord? If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more they should call him his household?
You want?
Fear them not therefore, for there is nothing covered, that they should not be revealed, a head that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light.
What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light. So during those dark times when the thought the Most High wasn't with you and you heard that voice, you felt that feeling like, I'm with you, brother, sister. Get out of the dust. Dust your feet off. It's time to work. What you heard in those times of darkness, what he tells you in secret, that is meant for others, speak ye in the light. And what else?
And what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops.
And that what we hear, and we all teaching somebody to some extent. What you hear in that ear, you know the truth when you hear it, according to this word in the scriptures. Preach ye upon the mountain to the housetops. You got brothers out there street preaching. Praise the Most High for them. Praise for all your hard work. Doing exactly what it says. You heard the truth. You preach at the top of those housetops. Keep going.
And fear not which killed the body, but are not able to kill the soul.
And fear not them which kill the body, because that's what it comes down to. In this, you can't be fearful. In these truths and persecutions, you can't be scared of those who can take a life in the body. This body is nothing. It's a shell. It's just a conduit to get through this life. It's a test in itself. A temple. But they're not able to kill the soul, which lives forever. So without that kind of power, what's there truly to fear? Without death, which the world uses, terrorism, fear of losing jobs and money, all that fear they use. They try to keep you in one place. Doesn't mean anything. Because they can't kill the soul. Every one of these disciples, every one of these prophets did this expecting that they could end the wrong way. And in a way they didn't expect. So a lot of them lives were taken quickly. But that's what it becomes when you become a soldier for Christ. There's no more fear of death. At all. Keep going.
But rather fear him which is able to destroy both the soul and the body in hell.
But that's who you fear. And you fear that, like we read in Proverbs, by what? Hating evil, pride, arrogancy, evil way, perverse mouths. That you fear. As overcoming evil with good. So Christ already said that he will be betrayed by one of his closest. We're talking about brother against brother. He had a chosen disciple specifically and betrayed by one in his own crew. That's part of it. Mm-hmm. We put a lot of trust in a lot of folks. Hold in high regard, like this brother is not going to do anything to me. I trust him. I trust the Most High. But a lot of folks trust men in that sense. Christ did the same, knowing that he had a job to do coming onto this earth. And that one of his own will be the one to bring him to death. So many of us come into the truth and don't even have one family member to stand with. So is this possibly really that far-fetched? It's not. If Christ was betrayed by those closest to him, then we should expect nothing less here. So how many holidays have you had to go without, while those who you were told the truth to continue to follow them and treat you differently for doing what was right? You're just trying to do the right thing. And they put you on this island. Say, don't come over here talking about that Bible. I don't want to hear all that. Or we just won't even tell you that stuff is happening. It'll just go ahead without you. Just because you're trying to stand up for the word. Again, it's that herd mentality of following what is popular is all over the earth today. What you see is that, and I was noticing this earlier. I was at a conversation actually earlier today. I was talking about a popular artist that's out there right now named Drake. And folks, you know, if you didn't know, Drake means dragon anyway. But what I'm seeing is this, is that no matter what they push out there, it could be like the worst kind of music possible. If enough people listen to it and they put enough news out there that he sold or they sold this many records, people will eat it up and forcibly like it, even if they don't like it, just to feel accepted. Oh, yeah, I heard it too. Or just like folks wear certain clothes when like skinny jeans came out, and most men was like against that. Like, I'm not wearing any skinny jeans. But then one brother in your crew got it on. And then the weakest brother in your crew see that, and he want to fit in, so he's wearing it because he's seen all the rappers and actors wearing it. And the next thing you know, you got it on. Because out of 6 brothers, you was like the 5th one, and you didn't have it on, and they pressing you. Come on, man. You don't even got to buy them. Just wear mine. But that herd mentality, that's just the truth. That herd mentality, for real, is dangerous. It's dangerous because you could do the same thing to people who lie. Exactly. That's how we got here. That's how our people agree with things together. We have a bunch of leaders we never chose that are up there in public saying that, hey, well, I speak for the black people.
Speaking of that, I don't know if y'all saw, it was Donald Trump was sitting among the black pastors, happened this week. And one of the black pastors said, yeah, Donald Trump has done so much for the black community. Yeah. It's out there. And I'm like, this brother, these are like mega church pastors, all the ones you see on TV. In the room with Donald Trump, he's sitting there smiling, shaking their hand like, and like these people are supposed to be so-called representing us. He said they the most pro-black president. Y'all seen that? Say we said he the most pro-black president we ever had. This happened this week.
And what they contributing to that to is solely one thing that pastors, the sole one thing that pastors speak, money language.
And what Donald Trump was about?
Money.
They a bunch of businessmen. I'm telling you, these pastors are businessmen. You look at their degrees.
All of them.
They got PhDs in business management and stuff. Like, hold on, you supposed to be a pastor. Why got a business degree?
So when it comes down to them saying he did so much for the community, it's about what? Money. Jobs and money. Because he even came out himself and said, look, the African-American community has now had the lowest unemployment rate in the land ever. He attributed doing for us was putting us to work with a number that nobody can verify.
I know. It's a random number. Yeah, 3%. Okay, where that number coming from?
Right. But it's the same thing when we were talking about like singers and rappers and that herd mentality. They throw out a number and say, yeah, he sold 34 million records. Show me that one person that can prove that.
Yeah.
So in the end, they can make whatever they want to be popular just off of hearsay. Just because a few people think it's okay. And they control news, websites. They control the wealth of information that goes out there. So very interesting. That herd mentality will get you into the pit. So this is beginning to be a far worse problem which shall manifest itself in these last days. And again, why it's not there yet, the mark of the beast, whatever form they bring it in, chip or what have you, will be popular when it comes. when it comes, it will be popular. Because they have already added to people's bank cards a chip. They've already done that. And we were just reading things like, and remember it talks about the mark, built in the hand or the forehead.
Yeah.
Guess what's becoming popular now? It doesn't seem like it's related, but when we talk about the mark of the beast, when you go into the actual meaning of mark, it means like etching the skin, right? A lot of us did that research and found that. Elders have taught that as well in the academy. Guess what? We just saw it today. Guess what's popular now? You've seen it. Some of you folks are on social media, I'm sure, younger folks. Face tattoos. Face tattoos. Which is what? An etching in the skin. So they're making it popular to, for one, get tattoos everywhere. And a long time ago, I learned that was not the right way to go. Even with all of my friends and folks in the street I hung with, for some reason, Mashah thought it was not a good idea to put a marking on my skin. And this is not anything against anybody who had it. But personally, something happened to me which actually caused me not to do it. And it was because I got actually stopped by police before. And apparently, when they pulled up behind me and they ran my tags and they got my license and all that stuff, a name came up in the registry for my name. And the only reason why I did not go to jail, because I had no markings of tattoos on my skin. They made me take my shirt off on the side of the road to look at my arms and chest. And I did not have one tattoo on me. And they said, well, this brother, the person here, he robbed a bank and had everything the same as you, except no tattoos. This is not him. I said, okay, they're using this to identify folks. And I know, I mean, in the city we live in, I know that's happening for real.
In Baltimore, yeah, I know.
For sure, because they'll put that out in public. So we have a black male, 5'7", 170. He has a L tattoo on his leg. He has, a skull tattoo on his right cheek. They use that as identifying marks. But now the popularity of etching of the skin, being in your arms, your legs, now the face is one of the same places they talked about what the mark of the beast would be. So making it comfortable for you to now etch your face up or put something in that. So whatever it may end up being, going to be popular. So let's go to 1 Kings 19. 1 Kings 19. Once you start to learn not to walk with the crowd, but also just to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. Because we got to make sure in these days and times that we are not walking ourselves off a cliff with the rest of society into the pit. 1 Kings 19.
Read the book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, verse 1. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done and withheld how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. The Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, so let the gods do to me and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life and came to Beersheba, which belonged to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a juniper tree, and he requested for himself that he might die, and said, it is enough now, O Lord. Take away my life, for I am not better than my father.
And this, again, I think we had this in the scripture before in a lesson, and this hits me right at home. Because for some reason, if you talk to other leaders out there, and even people who just been pushed into some position that they just like, they don't, for one, there's a certain quality that a lot of the brothers in the scriptures have. A lot of them get pushed into positions, and it's like, I didn't know I was supposed to be doing this, Father. And then when you're there, when you're in those positions, you never feel worthy of it. Ever.
Yep. Ever, yep.
And it's like, when is the person that's supposed to take my spot supposed to come? You looking left and right all the time like, one of these brothers better step up. So, because you have Elijah here saying, look, he requested himself, take my life. This is too much, because you get to some breaking points. And he says, enough, just take away my life, because all these people I read about, I'm not even worthy to talk about them, let alone do the work that they did. And this is where Elijah was. And this is where that trial and that truth, during the persecutions, this is where you got to pick up brothers and sisters, no matter if they're leaders or, again, like I said, this person is the first day they've been out here. You got to pick them up. Don't let nobody walk out here and not talk to nobody. Sometimes I see that. Somebody will come in here and just walk straight out. We can't have it. We want to know who you are and talk. Shalom. Shalom, brother, sister. How are you? Welcome to the family. We're in this together. We were brought all here together. Let's finish all together. Verse 5.
And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, then the angel touched him and said to him, arise and eat. And he looked, and behold, there was a cake baking on the coals, and a cruse of water at his head. Mm-hmm. And he did eat and drink, and lay him down again. And the angel of the Lord came again the second time, and touched him, and said, arise and eat, because the journey is too great for thee. And he arose and did eat and drink, and went into the strength of that meat 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mount of the Most High.
So this was a big deal to me, because no matter how weak you are, even when you're by yourself, the Most High got you. He's going to send somebody on your behalf. I don't know how many times it could be me, myself, brother here, where like we having a rough day, spiritually rough. And we can stand up here and you can see us and say, yo, these brothers must have it sewed up. That's why they're there. No. But there's times where like I'm having a down in the dumps day for real, and it just you wake up in a good spirit, but throughout the day, getting punched. You just get weak because you're by yourself. A lot of us working by ourselves, don't have anybody to talk to with the word, so you don't have that ongoing conversation. I see the text going on during the day. I'm busy working away, can't say much. But it's days like that when out of nowhere, one of you all will call. We say, Mashah, how you doing, brother? Shalimar, how you doing, brother? Just was thinking about you. Word? And I look right back to stuff like this, like, he know I needed it. I was at my wit's end. He know I needed to hear a voice from somebody. He knew I was going to Mashah was just going to go right to sleep, handle the family, get them good, and then go to sleep. But he know I needed a conversation to say, look, brother, you still need it. Mm-hmm. You still have some work to do. Keep pushing. Endure to the end. And that's what I see here. Throughout all the persecutions, we are still in the spirit of Christ and still focus on the goal at hand, to raise our people up and make a way for Christ to come back for us. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians 1 and 4. We all need refreshment a lot of times. That refreshment can come in many ways, not just food and drink. It can just come with a conversation. It come with a hello. It come with opening a book. It come in many ways. But the Most High knows you better than you know yourself. So he's going to come in an avenue that works for you. I've never seen a power tailor so much to one person. Like, he truly is our king. Because he knows everything about this kingdom. From the lowest of us to the high-minded of us. He knows us to a T. And that's what I'm saying, that he will come to you. And that shows how much he has all that power to do whatever he wants. But it's humble enough to come meet you where you are.
Yep.
And say, brother, keep walking with me. Sister, keep walking with me. I know you're weak. I was here too. Let's keep pushing. 2 Thessalonians 1.
Read the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 4. So that we ourselves glory in you in the churches of the Most High, for your patience and faith in all your persecutions and tribulations that ye endure.
So that we ourselves glory in you in the churches of the Most High, for your patience. That's one thing we ask of you all. Have patience with us. We have patience with you. We try the same. Because we know what a day-to-day life with being an Israelite is. We completely understand. You may not understand what a day in the life is to be a leader in a church. It's not easy. You know, I'm not talking about just fleshly. You got the spirits looking at you as the target consistently.
Yep. You ain't doing a good job.
Nope. Brother, just give up.
Just step down.
Step down. Leave.
Y'all know that's a daily conversation.
Struggle. They'll be all right without you. Go ahead, live your life. There's other things you could be doing on Saturday, Mashah. Oh, your job wants to promote you and give you more money. But you might have to sacrifice Shabbats. You want your children to be able to go to school, right? You want to be able to feed them, right? You see the cost of everything going up.
Yep.
Can you keep it at that same salary, brother? You going to be able to maintain? Just bend a little bit. Just a little bit. That conversation. And we're not even talking to ourselves. You sitting there getting hammered minute by minute throughout a day on the outside trying to maintain that you still got it together.
Yep.
Praise the Most High we here. Praise the Most High you all here.
Yep.
But we didn't have to tell you that. Every brother went through the same. Paul talks about it a lot. That struggle. You see, if you want to know what it is to be in a day of life trying to follow that narrow road, just read Paul. He told you many times what he's going through. Us the same. You the same. Nobody's outside of that. So that we glory in you in the churches of the Most High, the body, for your patience and faith, continuing faith, knowing that it's going to work out. You do your part, he'll do his, but not the other way around. Don't do it your own way and expect it to work out. You got to do it his way. He has a plan. He has a reason why everybody's been put in the places they have been placed. He has a reason for it all. So in all your persecutions and tribulations, because he knows you're going through all that stuff while you're here, trying to come with Shabbats, trying to be a good servant, trying to follow everything the word says, that you still endure in that. What else?
Verse 5, which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of the Most High, that ye may be counted worthy of the kingdom of the Most High, for which ye also suffer.
Which is a manifest token. That's like a token of appreciation or a image of what going through this means. He's telling you, which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of the Most High, that ye may be counted worthy. He's trying you so he can say, you know what? You see that soldier right there that's walking to these gates? He's in. Did you see what he went through? Did you saw how he was able to persevere through that? But I allowed these things to press him to that effect, and he still made it. And like I said, every time I see one of you guys walk through the door, every week, the same folks that come in, the new folks that come in here, the folks that haven't been in a while that come back. When I see you walking through the door, I see a soldier that has been in war. That helmet might have a dent in it. That bulletproof vest might got some shots in it. Your pants is torn. Even though you're smiling. When you get to a certain point, you see right through that. You can see what's really going on. And you know, since you're a brother in Christ, you're a sister in Christ, that they must be going through the same thing I'm going through. Because the word said it. They'd be going through the same things. My sheep hear my voice.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be tried just like who?
Christ was. Yep.
The herd master. Keep going.
Verse 6. See, it is a righteous thing that with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. And to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yeshua shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels, in the flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not the Most High.
In flaming fire, taking vengeance of them that know not the Most High. So if you are being tried by somebody out there, people, or even a government that knows not the Father, vengeance isn't yours. You follow the Father. How many things can you do at once? I know they try to put this thing out like multitasking. And that's like a whole thing. And it's crazy because I'm seeing like even things at my job parallel the Bible and they don't even know they're doing it. They just taught a seminar that said you can't multitask. When they try to give you, they tried to say that you could multitask all this time. What they're saying is that, oh yeah, you've done all this work. But guess what? While you're juggling all that, and your hands have been open while you're juggling, and you've been juggling sand, guess what's been going through the cracks? You're not doing it as good as you think you're doing it. You're holding up something that eventually our juggler hands gets tired. Their shoulders get weak. Their eye looks off a little bit, just off the ball they've been juggling, or the balls they've been juggling. And eventually, you realize you was doing too much. And that's what the flesh comes in. So now we have to start focusing on what? A narrow path. One way. Not many paths, but one. And that comes down to you can't concentrate on but so many things. You focus on the Father, which are your heart, your mind, your spirit. He didn't say 70%. That's what I meant by multitasking. You're juggling the world and him, or you're trying to juggle serving the Most High and maybe other gods by through your actions, not through your mouth. Can't juggle. Got to focus only on him. Because whatever somebody did to you, whatever happened in the past, he sees it. And if you have vengeance in your heart, you better put that away. Vengeance is his. And he will come with a flaming fire, taking vengeance of them that know not Ahaya. Keep going.
All right, know not Ahaya, and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yeshua Christ.
All right, keep going.
Who shall be punished with an everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power.
So how quickly we can forget that the beginning of the Church of Christ was with great persecution. The people were fed to lions, beaten, murdered, and many other perverse forms of torture for their beliefs, to the point that church was driven underground. We're not that far away. We're making sure that we have all these other religions out here, but you try to say, hey, look, I'm a child of Israel, son of Israel, daughter of Israel. Say, oh, we don't recognize that. You can only pick from these religions. That's the ones you can pick from. That's not part of that's not in the option key. They're going to take that away soon. It's not going to be no more handwritten religions. It's going to be, you got to take, the drop down is going to have these, and if you don't choose it, then we don't recognize it. So, driven underground. So, if that happened during the perverse rule of Rome, Greece, Egypt, you name the place, we did it. How much more when the whole world has been bred to think like perverse Romans, which they have. Our calendars are Romans, our buildings, our money system, all those things, which hate the laws of the Most High. It's coming. Let's go with Wisdom of Solomon 2. Truth comes with persecutions. Right now, we just got to learn how to deal with ourselves, among ourselves. And that's why I don't think the persecutions more or less have hit yet, because we're still ourselves still getting this right. Government-wise, I'm talking about within ourselves, governing ourselves, trusting your leadership. All that has to come into play. Because when we're out there, and I'm talking about everybody, all nations out in the wilderness, fighting for what all those other movies they didn't put out with wilderness survival and the apocalypse happening or whatever. With all that stuff happening, we want to have to learn how to govern ourselves and be strong in that. No wavering. Because there's a lot of books, there's a lot of scriptures out there in Isaiah that talk about, look, we got some brothers that they were good while we were here in the Shabbat. But once Shabbat was done and we had no more Shabbat and we had to go out there and fend for ourselves as a nation, brother, there's some swine over there. And we haven't eaten all day. If you don't say nothing, I'm going to go take one. I'm going to cook it over there, and when I give you the signal, you come and eat, you and your family. Not knowing that many times our people were almost towards starvation, and the Most High brought food from the sky. But that's where that lack of trust in the Most High, lack of trust in Christ comes into play. And your flesh takes the aim. There was a ironic conversation at work where I don't know how this even came up, but they started talking about Gentiles. Mm-hmm. What if there was some kind of I think they were talking about zombie movies, and they went into like a whole conversation of on our team. What if there was a zombie movie? I wonder which one of us would last to the end. And somebody said, well, I know who would make it. They just pointed at me. I'm like, how you know that? Because then they started pointing to other people and said, well, that person's going to crack first. He's going to crack second. Or he can't. They were just using like what they knew from work and how you are at work. They said because every time there's a problem going on, Mashah, I'm going to use the Hebrew name. Every time there's a problem going on, Mashah, and I'm talking about that it hits the fan, you don't blink. Everybody else here, they lose it. That's just natural. But then I remember, hold on, the Most High does what he does for a reason. Certain people are born with certain things that he said from the beginning. Look, when the time hits, I need somebody to be focused, not have a clouded mind, not emotional. Things that I thought were actually a detriment when I was younger. I felt like I wasn't emotional enough. Felt like, wow, I think I'm pretty cold. Like, who gonna love me? Now you got, right? So I wouldn't have a wife or anything. Like, look, even to the point where I'm talking, real talk. Even talking to the point I talked to my father, he was surprised. Like, I was surprised, son. I ain't gonna lie. I was surprised you even got married. Surprised you got married. Surprised you had a child. Because I felt like you was gonna be just a lone wolf. And I said, why you think that? And I knew the answer already. Because he said, because I was. My father did the same thing. And that's still buried in it, that part. But the fact that, like, Gentiles that I don't really show certain natures to can still peek it out lets you know a lot about yourself. I don't fear because I can't. This thing told me not to. It's not because I'm just naturally fearless. It's that. Why fear what the Most High created?
Right. Just
like people fear ghosts and all those things. Why? All those spirits, and when I realized they came from the giants, like, what do I fear them for? They're trapped here. And they're just trying to get me to go the wrong way. So I don't have to fear them. I fear the Most High. And the Most High take care of the rest. But yeah, it's ironic that these days and times, you're going to start to see people who aren't you start to recognize stuff in you, and you're like, okay. That light starts to come off in the other nations, even if you're not using the Bible. Starts to come off. So, truth and persecutions. We're going to Wisdom of Solomon 2.
With the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we have never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart.
So these scriptures here, when it says the ungodly say reason with themselves but not aright, our life is short and tedious, you start to realize what their drive is and what the things that they do in this world. They live this whole life to, one, they want to find a way to not die here. They want to stay alive forever. That's one point. But they really feel like there's no remedy in death. Once you're dead, they're done. Because they don't have Christ in them. They're not thinking with the eternal life. They're thinking about short term, and like we have to exist on this existence as long as we can. So in the death of a man, there's no remedy. And they say, and there's no man known to return from the grave. They don't. Most of them don't believe in Christ. They don't look at the Most High that He raised someone from the dead. They say it's impossible. But then they turn around and try to find a way to stay here or live longer or even raise themselves from the dead. So how can you say that and then still try to do it? They're all over the place. Keep going.
Verse 3, which being extinguished, our bodies shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our names shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as the trance of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Come on, therefore.
So after all that conversation they had about this is, death is permanent here. So if you die, there's nothing else. So let's take all this stuff now. Let's do all we can now to try to stay and do everything our heart desires. Keep going. So come therefore. After all that conversation, pumping themselves up with that, this is, there's no remedy from death. This is where they go. Go ahead.
Verse 6, come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in the youth.
And when I'm thinking about, some of the tribe, the 13th tribe that them call themselves, how they live and how they call people goyim, which means cattle.
Yep.
Which means everybody who's not them. Even though they're not the people, they use that term.
Yep.
When I'm reading this right there, I see that all the way. Let us use the creatures like as in our youth. I'm seeing all of the folks right now. I know the NFL season is about to start. We just had a game happen, and more games to come. And I see how they are positioning themselves with all this big money that they have. They're still putting this whole kneeling on the flag and all that. They still harping on that when they know that's not the issue. But they know they have control.
Yep.
Because they know what people care about. People care about money. People care about power of this world. They care about those things. And because of that, they can say, look, we'll fine you or we'll suspend you if you don't follow suit with this.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of folks, it was a quarterback from the Dallas Cowboys.
Stockholm Central.
We got to do more. And everybody, of course, turned on him. He wasn't lying. Kneeling is only doing anything but making their agenda, which that whole kneeling thing in the first place don't even seem like something we started. I feel like this all an agenda and the whole time. It always been. Another distraction. If you follow the money, you find out everybody who's funded probably Kaepernick and all the Black Lives Matters they have out there and all these leaders, again, they keep giving us leaders. When they give you a leader, if they gave you one, they gave you one. They propped them up, put them on TV. If they give you that focal point, you got to question it.
Yep.
Especially with us. Other people, they don't apply the same. Us, it's a reason, a calculated step for all things that they do here. Calculated. Every move is calculated. So when I see, folks using the Kaepernick, we're going to stand behind the brother because he can't get a job. This brother's on radio shows, and I'm pretty sure he's flying around the world. He's not bad off. Pretty sure he's not bad off.
Oh, he had a big contract before he left, too, so don't forget. He still got that money.
Oh, the timing is perfect for things. That's what I talk about when you have these little things that go on and we feel like we got to get wrapped up into them. No. there's only two sides. You're with the Most High, or you're not. Keep going.
Verse 7, let us fit ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of voluptuous. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this.
And all I see is fill ourselves with costly wines and ointments, and let no flower of spring pass us by, and rosebuds. A whole bunch of temporary. A whole bunch of things that really don't matter. Keep going.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore let us lie and wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education. He professeth to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord.
So those things are going to start turning people off, and if they haven't already, have gotten to that point. All these things, let us oppress the poor righteous man, let us not spare the widow, no reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Again, old people nowadays, or even if you want to name the ancient gray hairs being the children of Israel, not respected. Disrespect of elders or the aged or even people of the Most High is at an all-time high. It said, let our strength be in the law of justice. Use the laws of the land for strength. And that's exactly what they've done with us. What else?
Verse 14, he was made to reprove our thoughts.
And that's why, and this is the one line I see when we're talking about like all of the other folks who still haven't come to the information that they are the children of Israel, coming to that truth. And don't understand why there are other people all across the world that are just as brown as you that just don't get the same treatment. Why are we still why are we still treated the same way all over the world? But every other nation, no matter how brown they are, don't get that treatment. It's because when you look at the children of Israel, the spirit within them sees what? You were made to reprove their thoughts. When they saw Christ back then, they saw the one that was made to reprove their thoughts. We are the image of that son. We are the image of that family that was made to reprove the thoughts of the world. Therefore what? You're hated for his what? Namesake. Keep going.
Verse 15, he is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's. His ways are another's fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as for filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father.
So as time moves forward, we can see that the laws are becoming more and more restrictive in nature as far as what a person can say against those things in society which are perverse. These laws are there not for the perverts and the reprobates. The righteous are the target of these laws, because the wicked are attempting to remove any person with a good conscience from society. That is definitely the truth.
You right about that?
That is definitely the truth. If you have a conscience, and that reminds me, I remember, didn't somebody put out somebody put a video out? It was in regards to, they had, and was that towards the end of this video, they had actually some, before when they started their agenda to push homosexualities in schools. Yup. Brother, yeah. So there was a situation where, and I heard this firsthand, to be honest with you too. So it's interesting to hear that this wasn't just a state thing, this was a nationwide thing. That they took some teachers when they were first looking to push this whole thing, this new thing that they were pushing, and they took the teachers into a room and they used psychology against them, pretty much saying, if you agree, if you agree with what we're about to bring out, go on this tree. If you don't agree, we said, well, if you don't agree, go on this other tree, And then there was one thing that said, if you're not going to do this at all, stand over in this corner right here. And they were separating folks to see what they actually thought. What I'm starting to see, though, is that, again, with the whole, I mean, you think it's not related, but it technically is. You got the AI movement. You got robots. Remember when it starts to get tough and things start to happen, they start to pull this war together, which by all means is going to be a war. When they pull this thing together, men and women are going to get to a point, even those who might have been like the staunchest of either white supremacists, black supremacists, whatever you want to call them. When they get to a certain point, they're just going to say, I can't do this. Circle back to now you have the robots and AI that's not going to say what? No. So now we're at that point. And we were just reading a story about a robot story where they're making robots to have feelings to the point where they were saying the robot posed a question to a person to say, like they just had like I guess a few folks in a room and they took the robot and mostly was saying, hey, you came to the robot and it said, hey, don't turn me off. Don't turn off the light. I'm scared.
Yep.
And they were playing on the emotions of people to see if they were going to treat this like a person. And apparently, they said roughly 13% of the people out of the people they didn't do it. Then they said a bigger portion, maybe 50%, 60%, hesitated. Said it just asked me, "Don't kill me." And I had to pause. They're not thinking of it as a robot. So what I'm looking at is that now they're taking conscience away because they're going to remove it completely. They're not going to have to worry about, look, oh, you're tired, you're too sick to come to work. That's not going to matter. You know? All right, you don't want to push this button to destroy some people? All right, that's okay. We'll use something else. They're getting to the point where they're just going to remove you completely out of the equation.
They already doing it now. You know, as you go to the store, you see more self-checkouts than regular people.
Yep. Yep.
I was at BJ's the other day. I saw like 6 self-checkouts and only 2 cashiers. They take your job away. You go to Target, you'll see. I was at Target, and they had nobody to register. They say, oh, come to the self-checkout line.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they forced you there, too. Go to the self-checkout line.
Go ahead.
I'm actually trying to get in line to save the person's job because I know it was coming. Let me give me this business, because if they don't see me walking through that line and they don't have that counter, because they got like little things, little beams and stuff they have shooting at the in the register that you don't even see, you don't notice they got lights there and everything. They're counting people as they go through.
Yep.
They can tell who's going where. And if there's like, oh yeah, nobody really going to those cashiers lines, we don't need that position. That's what they've seen. That's why they can remove these things. They're counting. They're counting left and right. And I feel bad for them because some of these brothers and sisters, that's all they have. So I'll make a point to go to the cashiers, at least till they take them all away, because that's what's coming.
Yep. It's like you call the phone, you call for customer service, you get a robot talking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Repeat yourself again. You got to talk slowly on the phone.
I can't take that.
I said this. You got to talk slowly.
I'll say, associate, please.
Associate, please. No. Say it one more time.
Say it one more time. No, associate, please. I'll hit 0. I'll just try to mess it up. 0. Give me an operator or something. I want to talk to a person. But all saying all that, again, they hide themselves now with their true intentions under the cover of peaceful resolutions. But soon their agenda will become obvious and physical. Like what you said, pedophilia. They had a whole TED Talk on pedophilia and sexuality.
Y'all see that? They had a whole TED Talk about it.
TED Talk saying pedophilia was a sexuality.
Oh, sexuality, it's fine.
It's fine. Let's add that. Let's add that to all the alphabets they already have out there. We're going to add a P.
They already a child in the mind, so nothing to be with a child. Yep. Out there. I'm telling you, this is out there. Yeah.
And then, like we said before, look, people can go to jail now for not calling somebody the proper gender. So if you call a ma'am a sir, or a sir a ma'am, and they're obviously a sir, that's not what I want to be called. I'm calling the police. And the police uphold it. They're doing that now. They've gotten to the point where they're going to start calling the police on you.
They're doing that with petty stuff already, so don't be surprised he's doing it with that.
Yep, 2nd Ezra 16. Can it wait?
2nd Ezra 16, verse 64. Therefore had the Lord exactly search out all your works, and he will put you all to shame.
Therefore have the Most High searched out all your works, and he will put you,
All to shame.
all to shame. So every work that we done ever did, everything our heart's desire is going to be placed out there on blast. And all of us are going to be ashamed. Put you all to shame. What else?
Verse 55, and when your sins are brought forth, you shall be ashamed before men, and your own sins shall be your accusers in that day.
I don't know how many people have not read this verse before, but when your sins, or just this chapter, 2 Ezra 16 is a rough chapter.
It is.
If it's a rough chapter for folks who just ain't living right, or, got pride and just didn't realize what's going to happen in the end. When your sins are brought forth, you shall be ashamed before men, and your own sin shall be your accusers in that day. Keep going.
What will you do? Or how will you hide your sins before God and his angels?
So how many people going to say, I didn't do that? That wasn't me. I didn't mean it. How many times that's going to be said? Israel like excuses. They like pointing fingers. What will you do? Or how will you hide your sins before the Most High and his angels? Keep going.
Behold, the Most High himself is the judge.
Mm-hmm.
Fear him. Leave off from your sins and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall the Most High lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble.
Mm-hmm.
For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered to idols.
So, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. Somebody's mad at you. And they take away certain of you and feed you, being idle. They feed you because you're idle. You're not doing anything with the time that you've been given. This is a gift. That last breath you took, a gift. People are passing away left and right. We just recently went through our own here. I recently went through one in my own family. Me and time, we see eye to eye now. I can't waste. If you see Michelle being short, it's because I don't have more time. I don't know about time. I don't know what I have anymore. I don't know if I have tomorrow. I don't know if I have this evening. Neither do you. So being idle with things offered unto idols. Keep going.
Verse 69, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. For there should be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Most High. They should be like mad men, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses.
They're going to go house to house. I mean, all the things you done seen in movies, they talk about left and right. Waste your houses. Cast all the things out of your house. Or your people. Keep going.
They shall be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire.
Then shall be known who are my chosen. Because the chosen are going to be going through the fire. Keep going.
Hear ye, O ye my beloved, said the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same.
He will deliver you from the same. If you look at over and over again, your people save. Over and over again. Over and over again. He will deliver you the same. Way as them. Keep going.
Be ye not afraid, neither doubt.
Be ye not afraid. That fear. Remember we said the fear of the Lord is versus fear of the world. Neither doubt. That's something we all struggle with. We get to a point of weakness. We doubt. But be ye not afraid, neither doubt. For what?
For the higher is your guide.
For a higher is your guide. Keep going.
And the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts.
And the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts.
Said the Lord power. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins.
Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins. Keep going.
And covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through.
Covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, because grass gets no sun, and the path therefore is nothing but thorns, that no man may travel through. So you must be prepared to lose everything in this truth. I repeat, you must be prepared to lose everything in this. Whatever we're holding fast to, I'm pretty sure a lot of us came to us with a lot of coveting ways. Things we coveted, things we had to have, feel like we couldn't live without. And I'm not just talking about material, I'm talking about within. Things that we just had to have. And the Most High systematically took those things down the deeper you got into this. He systematically brought you down to a lower place and said, look, you don't need that. Whatever you was holding fast to, that's temporary. Don't focus on it. That doesn't mean anything. You're wasting your time. So you must be prepared to lose everything in this truth, because with Satan's societies being set up worldwide, there will be no room for those who choose to follow the Most High. Put down your sins now, as they will make you weak in the days of persecution, and you will compromise with Satan to sustain yourself. We talked about that already. Mm-hmm. You're going to start It will happen if you follow the world. You're going to compromise. Those same things we said we hear in our minds as leaders. So I can imagine what y'all hear. I can't even imagine what y'all hear. Let's go to Amos 5:18. We got to prepare to lose everything, even lives.
All right, with the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light.
So woe unto you that desire the day of the Most High. To what end is it for you? Like, well, I want that day to come. Because do you know where you'll end up?
Yep.
If you happen to have this day and not the next. So I'm looking at death. I look at death so much differently now. I know we were looking at Isaiah 57 in regards to just like when people pass away and those things. And it's like, look, Most High, he knows the day and the hour to save you out of your sins, and says, look, if I leave them here one more day, they could possibly be cast out if I give them too much time. I want to take you in your perfection. I want to take you when you repented, and you know what? You repented out of a whole heart. So I look at death a lot differently now.
Yep.
I do. I look at just life differently. That sometimes, or most of the time, the things that happen is the Most High wants it, one, but he does everything perfect in time. So woe to you that desire the day of the Most High. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. People asking for Christ to return have no idea what they're asking for. What happens if you're not in the line you thought you were in?
Right.
What if you were the one he's talking about? He's treading the wine press with grapes. What if you getting wine pressed? What if you the one getting trodden? What if you the one? It could be. Don't ask for something you definitely don't want. The Most High kept you alive this day for a reason. You could be fixing the things that you had in the past, covering those sins that you had in the past, serving him more so you can be with him. The whole point is to get you into the kingdom, making sure that you make it. He's the God of life, not death. So he wants as many people as possible to make it, I'm sure. Keep going.
As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house, and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him, shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark, and no brightness?
Very dark and no brightness in it. So the day of Christ returning is nothing to desire if you have not changed your fleshly ways. In fact, even the righteous were fearful at times when Christ would come down to visit. Are we even ready? If Christ was to crack the sky, what can we say to that? Are we ready? Are we waiting until the last minute to change? Nobody wants to be on that deathbed trying to repent then. At any time this can change. Anytime you could be driving down the road. And like that, gone. No time to repent, thinking you had the next Shabbat or the next day. Time is not the same now. You don't know how much you have. So are we waiting till the last minute to change again? It will not go well to those who continue in confusion and know the truth regardless of who you are. It's not going to go well. You can't keep the charade up for so long. Because eventually, if you don't prove it here and repent, it's going to be set out there to creation and the judgment. And like we read, the Most High and the angels will see it. Let's go to Revelations 2:18. Revelations 2:18. The truth and persecutions.
Right, with the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 18. And unto the angel of the church in
Thyatira.
Right, these things said the Son of the Most High, who had in his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet like fine brass. I know thy works in charity, and service of faith, and thy patience, and thy works, and the last to be more than the first. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed to idols. And I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not.
He's saying time. She had the time to repent and did not. He gives both the wicked that you call wicked and those who are righteous the time. We're not to waste it. Keep going.
Behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into a great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds. And I will kill her children with death, and all the churches shall know that I am he that searcheth the reins and hearts.
That is the insides. I will search of your insides and hearts, your trials, your works. I will try all those. Keep going.
And I will give unto every one of you according to your works. Mm-hmm. But unto you I say, and unto the rest of Thyatira, as many as have not this doctrine, and which have not known the depths of Satan, as they speak, I will put upon you none other burden, but that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my words unto the end, to him I will give power over the nations.
So we must overcome and follow the voice that demands our sobriety in a drunken world. Those that preach lies and continue to encourage our people to sin will have their judgment. How about you? Are you ready to stand with truth and walk in the light of Yeshua in these last days? For those that overcome the trials, the kingdom is waiting. We pray for all of you to have good success in this journey and in this walk. All we can do is arm you. All we can do is arm you and let you know how to do this. But this is our walk together as the children of Israel. And we will do it together. Be it the Most High's will. Shalom.
Shalom.